I'm showing you everything I crocheted in a month. If you're new to my channel, I'm Ashley from AQCrochets and I spend probably too much of my time crocheting. I run an Etsy shop where I sell crochet plushies and patterns, so I'm always making new things, especially since I try to come out with a few new crochet patterns every month. Last month, I crocheted lots of plushies and even a viral blanket that I'm excited to show you. I thought it would also be fun to show you the short form content I created and posted about each item as I talk about what I made. Especially with social media being a big part of running my crochet business, and I think many others as well, I thought it'd be interesting to show you the kind of content you can create from your makes if you're interested in posting on social media. All the links for the patterns I use will be in the description box below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more crochet content. And with that being said, let's go over everything I crocheted in May 2025. One of the first things I made this month was my sunflower bouquet blanket. This was such a fun project and definitely a labor of love. It took me around 24 hours over the span of 9 days to finish. I actually filmed the whole process of making this bouquet blanket and shared it in a Crochet With Me vlog right here on my YouTube channel. In that video, I go over everything from the materials I use to daily updates on my progress, so if you're curious about the step-by-step process of making this blanket, I definitely recommend checking it out. This project was a good mindless crochet project because it's pretty repetitive, especially at the beginning when you're crocheting the base of the blanket, and at the end when you're making the sunflowers. Once I memorized the pattern for the sunflowers, it was easy to keep making them while I watched TV, so it was pretty relaxing. The most tedious part of crocheting this blanket was definitely sewing on each of the sunflowers to the base of the blanket. Sewing is one of my least favorite parts about crocheting, even though I know that it's a very important step, but seeing the finished blanket come together made it all worth it. I also posted 2 short form videos about this blanket across my social media platforms. One of the videos was showing the day-to-day progress of crocheting this bouquet blanket, and I think it's really cool to look back and see how much I got done each day. I feel like when I was crocheting the blanket, sometimes it didn't feel like I was making much progress because it was so repetitive, but seeing the amount of progress I made each day in that video was really rewarding. This is actually the second blanket that I've ever crocheted. The first blanket that I crocheted was a Lily of the Valley bouquet blanket, and I crocheted that in the previous month. I loved how that blanket turned out so much that it inspired me to crochet this sunflower bouquet blanket. If you're interested in making your own bouquet blanket, I followed a free crochet tutorial here on YouTube by Lily Rosie Crafts. I definitely recommend making it as long as you have the time and the patience. I don't know if I'm going to make another one anytime soon because it is such a big time investment, but if I were to make another bouquet blanket in the future, I think I would crochet a rose bouquet blanket. It looks so pretty, and I think a rose one would go really well with the sunflower and the Lily of the Valley bouquet blankets that I've already made. Another project that I made pretty early on this month were my no-sew fruit gnomes. This is a 3-in-1 crochet pattern that I designed myself, and I had a lot of fun making them. It's always so cool to see the ideas you have in your head come to life, and I'm really happy with how the finished plushies look. The pattern includes how to crochet 3 different fruit gnomes, a strawberry gnome, a watermelon gnome, and a pineapple gnome. Let me know in the comments which fruit gnome is your favorite. It's tough to choose, but I think my favorite is the pineapple gnome. Pineapples are one of my favorite fruits, and I feel like the design of the hat turned out exactly like what I wanted it to look like. I love eating fruits, especially during the summer when they're super sweet, so that was my inspiration for making these fruit-themed versions of my no-sew gnomes. I think that this pattern is perfect for the summer because these are all classic summer fruits. The pineapple gnome was actually the first fruit gnome that I designed for this pattern bundle. It was the first fruit that I knew I wanted to make, and I also knew it would be a little complicated, and I usually like to design the most complicated pattern first. It turned out exactly like how I envisioned it, so I'm really proud of this pattern design. And it's completely no-sew. All of these fruit gnomes are completely no-sew, so they work up really quick and they're perfect for markets. When I was deciding what other fruits I wanted to make, I thought of the strawberry and the watermelon because those fruits have a triangular shape. I thought that they would look really good as a gnome hats, and I think that they complement each other really well. This pattern is already available in my Etsy shop, so if you're interested in making these fruit gnomes, you can check out the link in my description box. I hope you love making them as much as I did. Also, I actually made 2 watermelon gnomes this month, and that's because I like to film Crochet With Me videos for each of the patterns I release, so I filmed one for my watermelon gnome, which is why I have 2. I usually like to keep at least 1 plushie from my original designs, but I don't need 2, so I'll probably list this other watermelon gnome on my Etsy shop if you're interested in adopting it. So another pattern that I released this month were these little no-sew bees, and this is a free tutorial available on my YouTube, so you can feel free to make your own if you want. They work up super quick. It only takes me around 7 minutes to make one of these bees, and I had a lot of fun making them. I actually made 4 of these bees because it was one of the first tutorials I filmed, so it took a few tries to get it right. The other 2 bees I shipped off in plushie orders since I always like to give freebies in my plushie orders. And so I've been giving out these bees as little freebies since I have extras. And I think these bees are the perfect size for keychains or for car hangers or just for little decor or accessories for your plushies. So it's a really fun make. And I made a regular bee in yellow and black for the body and white for the wings. And I also made a little strawberry bee. And this is light pink and white for the body and green for the wings. And I really like how they turned out. Another free tutorial that I released this month was for my Kirby holding a heart. And I loved making this. I actually designed this crochet pattern back in 2023, and I actually haven't made one of these Kirby's since then. So this was my first time making it in like 2 years, and it was really fun making him. I made some modifications since I actually used a different yarn than what I used in the original pattern. When I first made this Kirby, I used Bernat blanket yarn, but with this Kirby, I made it in Parfait Chunky, so it worked up a little bit smaller, and I love how it turned out. The heart is in Sweet Snuggles Light since that is the color I had in my stash, and it sits on a flat surface, so right now I have it sitting on my desk as I work, and I love it. It always makes me so happy looking at it, and I use felt for the eyes, which I don't normally do, but they're such an iconic part of Kirby's look, so I knew I had to get it right. And this is a free tutorial over on my YouTube, so you can make your own Kirby too, and I think it is perfect for any Kirby lovers or people who like video games. I think it would make the perfect gift. And another thing that I made this month was this no-sew spouting whale. And I made this using Loops and Threads fluffy flex yarn. So if you look really closely, he has little flecks of rainbows throughout it, but the main body color is light blue. And this pattern is a no-sew pattern, so it works up super quick. And it was cool to see it work up in this yarn because I originally designed the pattern using Parfait Chunky yarn, so it worked up a lot smaller, whereas this yarn is more like a blanket yarn, so it's a lot thicker. But I really like how it turned out. The spout is definitely one of my favorite parts, and I show you how to make that in the pattern. And I also use these colorful eyes, which I don't normally use in my plushies, and that's just because this plushie turned out a lot bigger and I didn't have black eyes for it, but I think it gives it personality, so I love how it looks, and it was a lot of fun making this. So I do want to design more underwater animal crochet patterns in the future. I do have a mini dolphin pattern available and this whale pattern, but I think it'd be fun to continue adding to the collection. Another item that I crocheted this month was my Jellycat inspired pretzel. And I made a whole video about making this as part of a Jellycat crochet challenge. I don't actually own any Jellycats, so this is my first Jellycat-ish plushie, and I think it turned out really cute. The plushie was relatively simple to work up because the main body of the pretzel is basically just a tube. I think one of the things I really wanted to nail was the classic Jellycat legs, especially since they're such an iconic part of the plushie, and I think it turned out really nice. Let me know what other Jellycats I should crochet next. I definitely want to continue with the challenge, so I'm excited to see what people suggest. I do think it'd be cool to make this in a smaller weight yarn, and I know that Jellycat has a keychain version of this pretzel, so it'd be cool to make one with a smaller weight yarn and make it into a keychain. So I might do that next. So this is another crochet pattern that I designed this month, and it's my 3-in-1 Silly Goose crochet pattern. So it includes how to make a goose as well as 3 different hats. So this is the traffic cone hat, and I also have another goose that is wearing a flower hat. And there's a third goose that's wearing a frog hat. And I really love how all of them look together. I think all their hats and their poses give them so much personality, which is why I called it my Silly Goose crochet pattern. I think my favorite is the traffic cone hat, just because it's so silly and I love how it looks, especially because the orange I think complements with the beak and the feet. So let me know which one is your favorite. It's a little hard to see, but I actually just released this pattern at the end of May. So if you're interested in making your own Silly Goose, the pattern is available now, and I hope you love making them. And I also made these mini Floaty Friends this month, and these were a lot of fun to design. I think they're so cute for summer, and it's a 4-in-1 crochet pattern. So it includes how to make 4 different animals wearing removable floaties. So it's a little hard to see, but there is a duck, a bunny, a pig, and a frog. So this is what the duck looks like, and he has a little blue and white removable floaty. This is what the frog looks like, and he has a pink variegated yarn floaty. This is what the bunny looks like, and he has a rainbow floaty. And this is what the pig looks like, and he has a red and white floaty. So I love how this all turned out. Originally, I was only going to come out with the duck and the frog, but it felt like it was missing something, so I designed the pig and the bunny. I've actually never designed a pig pattern, so it was fun to design that. And they're super mini, so they work up really fast, and I love how they all turned out. Let me know which one is your favorite animal. I think the duck is my favorite. It was also the first one I designed, so maybe it's just because of that. But I really like how they all turned out, and I hope you guys do too. I think they will be perfect for summer markets. And the last thing I made this month was this mini dragon. And I made this dragon using skinny chenille yarn. And it was fun to size down the pattern because the first time I made this dragon was with Chenille Home Slim and Sweet Snuggles Light yarn, which is a weight 6 yarn. And this is with a weight 4 yarn. So it's always fun to see the size difference. It's super mini, so it can fit in the palm of my hand. And I think it'd be really cute as like an ornament or a keychain. I do think it'd be fun to make mini versions of all my crochet patterns and have them all ready to go by Christmas to hang them up on the tree. So this might be the first one that gets put on the tree. This is the first one that I've done this year. And I chose this mint green and pink color. And I think this color combo is so cute together. It reminds me of watermelon colors or just springtime. So I love using those two colors together, and I think it turned out really nice. I used the dragon pattern that I released last year, so it was fun to revisit the pattern since I haven't made it in a while, and I loved making this. And that is everything I crocheted this month. I hope you enjoyed seeing this video, and in total, I crocheted 1 blanket and 20 plushies. I spend most of my time pattern designing, which is why I usually only have time to crochet my own patterns. All the links for the patterns I use will be in the description box below, and if you're looking for cute crochet patterns, definitely check out my Etsy shop. If you like this video, please give it a like and let me know in the comments what was your favorite thing that I crocheted this month. Don't forget to subscribe for more crochet content, and you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks for watching!